too, man.
10, 9, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're not with the cat.
Dear Lord, bless this podcast. Direct us in all our doings. In Jesus' name, amen.
Hey everybody, welcome to the God Brothers Podcast. My name is Myke.
ROC.
Kenny Botchway.
Jarrod James.
All right. And as always, we're going to start this podcast off with a shot to the chest.
Shot to the chest. So, has it hit you that your daughter may one day suck a dick in the future?
Wow. Okay.
Harsh.
I don't even think that far ahead. To be honest with you, I'm more so just concerned about where she is now. Like I look at her now and I'm like, I don't want no boys talking to her.
That's how you feel?
I think about that shit every day.
Now.
I think about that shit every day.
Me
Like,
too, bro.
Anytime
Me too.
I see a pretty light-skinned girl or even if I'm looking at porn or something, I see somebody that's light-skinned, I'll be like, oh my God, like, this might be my kid one day. Like, oh shit.
Then I think about, then this shit may one day happen.
Nah, that shit's gonna happen, man.
That's the way I kind of look at it. Like,
Shit's gonna happen. That shit's
Well,
gonna happen.
it's just your hope that, she's in a relationship. She's just not out here, you know what I mean?
Batting and bopping.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to hear. No man wants to hear about his lady, let alone his daughter, being that girl in high school. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like,
And we all know those girls in high school.
that's what I'm saying. I think about it now after I had a daughter, and I'm like, dang, that was somebody's daughter.
Right.
Dang,
Every day is somebody's daughter. That's the sad part. All right, so answer me this. How do you think being a father shaped you as a man so far? Like you said, your daughter's 3, mine's 2, you got 2, your daughter's 2. How do you think the last 2-3 years have shaped you as a man?
it's opened my eyes to. I think I just got like a well-rounded picture of my father, what he's been through, other fathers around me, and just overall, like, it changes your perception of, like, being a man and what a man is supposed to do when you're responsible for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, like, when my wife told me she was pregnant, to be honest, I was, like, terrified. Like, but I'm, like, playing it cool, like, oh, okay, cool, whatever, yeah, you know, whatever. But, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yo, son, what am I about to do? What am I about to get into? Like, I don't know. Like, even when she was first born, like, you know, we've all held babies when they were first born and everything, but when it's yours, like,
The fuck am I doing?
It's like I'm mad scared. Like, yo, son, this is not somebody's kid that I'm watching, and I'm like, all right, at the end of the day, here's your kid back. So it's eye opening, and I think for me, I got like a greater appreciation for what fathers do and their place in society, like how important they are in the development of kids.
All right.
This made me more patient. My father was around. He was diligent. He was a good father. So having a kid didn't like open my eyes to that. But it made me more patient because, you get upset in relationships. You yell, you argue and shit like that. So when you're looking at your daughter, you don't want some nigga doing that to her. Like, so it's made me like way more patient, way more calm. Like when her mother and I have disagreements now, it's like I don't fly off the handle as much. I don't yell as much. Like, I'm still me, but it's like how you get shit across. Mm-hmm. And I feel better now afterwards. Like sometimes when you're right, you yell, you feel good, you know. But when you're wrong and you yell, you feel like shit. So a lot of times now I'm calm. I'm talking to her like this, like even when there's something heated. And it's like, it feels good. Like even if you're not right, you're like, well, I didn't scream and yell and get crazy. And then, you know, I show my daughter like somebody that does yell and scream, like, fuck that nigga. Like, you don't need that.
See, like, I'm still getting there, right? I'm still getting with the patience part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still learning every day how to be patient. And I was telling him earlier, like, I've known you my whole life. Mm-hmm. You had your father. You said you had your father. Mm-hmm. See, me not having a father, so the last 2 years, I'm trying to learn that. I'm not used to the father being there every day and telling you stuff, so I'm trying to learn that. So that whole patience from a man yeah, I didn't have that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Yeah,
So,
but it's funny because I don't know about you, but I think becoming a father, I realized certain ways. I think very highly of my father, but I realized certain ways where he fell short that I never realized before. Being a father and having my own kids, and I kind of realized almost in a sense that like, yo, we never had a conversation about that. Probably because it wasn't necessary because I wasn't having no kids at the time. But it was like you realize like later on I'm having conversations with my pops now, and I'm like, yo, why you never told me this before?
what you
Like,
mean
like,
conversation about becoming?
like yeah, not necessarily becoming, but while you're actually a father, like how to go about certain situations, like you know what I mean, in terms of like, I think we look at fathers as just the father and the daughter, but it also involves your daughter's mother. You get what I'm saying? Because that's part of being a father.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If you like, for example, if you're talking to her mother crazy, why is she gonna like? You know what I'm saying? Why is she gonna look for some dude to respect her?
I don't know about that.
I
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. There's a lot of fathers that are good fathers that might not have good relationships with the mother. Like, you can still take, hold on.
Yeah.
You're telling me you can't be a good father and take care of your daughter if you're not good with the mom?
I'm not saying you have to get along with the mother. I'm saying as in like, in other words, like certain fathers, you'll hear about them, they'll be talking crazy about the daughter's mother in front of the daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like sometimes it's too young to tell kids certain things. So
Okay.
in other words, you're talking to like if I'm talking to my 3-year-old about how bad mommy is, she's not gonna understand that.
Right.
She's just gonna think mommy's a bad person.
Right.
Or she's gonna think that it's warranted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As opposed to me talking to my 10-year-old or my 15-year-old, and then she can understand more my frustrations, and I can explain to her where her mother was wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand that. I'm
Yeah.
just, that's still a little different from getting along with the mom still. You know what I mean?
I'm not
like
saying
how
everything
you-
has to be
yeah.
like, peaches and cream. Like,
Righteous.
or we're not going to act like we don't have disagreement just because the kid is in the room. Nah, I'm not saying that. Like, my daughter has seen my wife and I disagree about things. It's just a matter of, like, I'm not going crazy at my wife, like, yo, like, like, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, there are times, like, when you was talking about the patience thing, I had to learn that the same way you did.
Yeah.
So it's like, one thing that really opened my eyes is that my wife and I were getting into a disagreement, and I started to get loud. And she was just like, Daddy, stop yelling. Like, stop yelling at mommy. And it just changed me. I was like, dag.
Nah,
like,
that's right,
I was
Jeff.
like,
Yeah.
dag. Like, I'm out here looking crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I need to take a step back. Don't mean I can't disagree with her, but it's like, I got to be mindful that she's in the room.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, like, see, you mentioned, you're married, right? And you're married. See, I'm not married.
Okay.
So you have a respect for your wife as well as the child's mother. You have respect for your wife, right? So me, I have respect for my child's mother, but she's not my wife.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's also a difference there too. And you were telling me this a long time ago before when you told me, yo, you should marry her, yada, yada, yada. Because I think there is a different respect level between somebody you have a child with and somebody you're married to.
Absolutely.
I think so. You being there every single day, your daughter sees every interaction with the mother. Same for you. My daughter only sees us together on planned occasions or pick up and drop offs.
Okay.
So she don't see the conversation through the phone or text, where I had to learn how to sometimes control my tongue and be more respectful. But yeah, if she was right in front of me every day, I think I would also be like, all right, let me change my tone, change my words.
Nah, there's no guarantee of that.
Probably.
There's no
Right.
guarantee of that.
Probably not.
I think kind of like I may have given the wrong idea. Like everything has to be on the up and up. I'm not saying disagreements can't happen because whether you're married or not, disagreements is gonna happen. You get what I'm saying? It's just up to you as a man whether to understand it and be like, yo, is this something that I'm actually going to like let it rock, or am I actually gonna like put my foot down and say, yo, I'm not standing for this. I can't.
So, do you think you're the cool father or the strict father? Like, what kind of father do you think you are? I know what I am. I'm answering, but what do you think you are?
I'm the strict father. I don't give a fuck if you think I'm cool.
Yeah, like I'm
don't
exactly
care.
the same way. I'm mean daddy.
Describe strict.
Strict is when she is around anybody but me, she's a different kid. Strict
That's
is
a fact.
when
That's
she
a fact.
does something and me and her mother around, she looks at me first. Like her mother tell her to do something, she'll still look at me. Like nigga, is that what you want me to do? Like, but you know, like it's like all this shit is like relative to me. You know what I mean? Like even you not being with your baby moms, like that's I don't know. I'm trying to think about what you said. Like, do I respect my wife more than it just so happens my wife is my baby mother. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know, man. Women are women. So situations, you know what I mean? That's situations.
The reason why I said that is because if you get into an argument, what you going to go to the bathroom? What you going to the living room? I get to go home.
Yeah, I could leave too. I could leave. I gotta come back, nigga. That's the only difference. I gotta come back. I gotta get in the fucking bed with her. That's the only difference. Like you don't gotta do that. Like I gotta look back. Like bitch, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like she's right behind me still. Like
it's not like oh,
yeah. That's the only difference, bro. Like I know people where it's like it's reversed. What if I was married to you and we had a kid? Mm-hmm. Now I'm not married to you no more. Now I got a girlfriend. She's not my wife, but
got you.
She lives with me. Like I care a lot about what she says, and I respect your decision to maybe not want the kid over or whatever dynamic we have. But it's like you're my baby mother, and I was married to you, and now you're not shit to me. Like you're just my baby mother's. You're just my daughter's mother, and like that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like. That shit's relative, bro. I'm telling you, like I can't. That's why, I can't make broad statements like that because it's like I know one person that is like this and another person where it's something else. You know what I mean? Like
that's a crazy thing about it. There's no manual to be like, all right, cool. If you're in this situation, this is how you go about it. Like he's saying, like, yo, everybody goes through a different state. I can give you my advice based on what I see from the outside. But that does not mean that that's the standard. Like, all right, every time you and your daughter's mother get into an argument about this is what you should do. There's nothing like about that, and that's the funny thing about fatherhood. Like, I think mothers kind of more so relate to each other more. Like, they can be like, yo, if you're going through this, then this is how I went about it, and they're more receptive to each other. Whereas opposed to fatherhood. I might not be like, you might give me advice that might sound good, but I might be like, yo, you don't understand what I'm going through. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't make your advice wrong, and it doesn't make me a bad guy for not taking it. It just means that, like, yo, I'm sorry, but.
All right, so, like, real quick, we talking about, because while we're on the topic of mothers and wives and stuff, like I said, I've known you were married, had your child. You were married, had your child, or child first?
Yeah, child first.
All right. Oh, so you a sinner like me?
Yeah. I'm born sinner.
Hey, look, man, we all believe in the Lord, right?
Born sinner.
All right, well, that's another topic.
There's something out there.
All right, look, all right. So, so I'll ask you first then. How do you think becoming a father than a husband changed the dynamic between you and your lady?
Not a fucking thing at all.
Nothing?
I was with my wife for 10 years.
Prior to the child?
Yes, prior to the child. And then, this November, this like a month after my daughter's born will make like 14 years that I've been with her. You know what I mean? 13 years. So it's like, that shit didn't change anything. Mm-hmm. I already got to see her in her entirety before that.
We lived together already?
Yeah. Lived together. We were domestic partners first. Then we, got engaged, and then we got married, like all the stages. We had our own apartment. We lived in my house first with my mother, you know what I mean? Then we got our own apartment. Yeah, we got our own apartment. Then we got a second apartment, been through like 3 cars, sharing credit, all that shit. Like that didn't mean anything to me,
So you think the child, like, it had no different, like, change on that?
I already lived with her.
Yeah.
The ring doesn't make you more faithful or less faithful. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Don't do that. It's fucking jewelry. Like, this shit I can take this shit right off. Like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm taking the emotions or the feelings off like that. I was never that nigga anyway. So, like, I'm a creep, but not like that. Like, where I'm like, where I need it all the time. And I could admire and shit like that. But, like, nah, it's been the same.
What you think, Kenny?
It's funny because it's like I hear what you're saying about the reference, but it's like for us, we weren't like, so we had a child and we had a miscarriage. So before we got married, you know what I'm saying? So before we were even engaged, I'll put it that way. So it was one of those things for us. It was like, okay, like I relate to him kind of what he's saying about more like, yo, we were kind of we already knew each other. before we got married. So it wasn't like, oh, you know, we're going into this new world, so to say. The only thing that changed for us was that we were like legally married, per se, and then we were entering an official union now. So it didn't really change my perspective in that, yeah. Like, it didn't change my perspective of her once we got married.
People get scared of that. You know, once I'm married, shit
I'm
is going to
scared
change. Nigga, nothing is going to change.
Son.
Like, why would it?
What exactly are you scared about, though?
What the fuck is going to change?
All right, so
Everything.
me and my daughter's mother, we were living together
Okay.
for about maybe a year and a half, 2 years before she got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then when she got pregnant, I started feeling, you know, I felt certain changes.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the baby was born,
No.
Whoa.
Certain changes like
I
what?
was about to say
Yeah, like,
that.
nigga, I felt,
Yeah,
you
my
felt certain
bullshit.
changes. Like,
I need to know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, I felt it was more serious now. Obviously, we've been to the I love you stage. We weren't together as long as you or as you were with your lady. Again, it's maybe a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay.
But I felt like, damn, this is really getting serious. Like, she's pregnant now. I come home every day and here's this woman here.
So let me ask you a question. The fact that y'all were living together, sharing a bed, it didn't feel serious to you?
Bruh, it felt serious, but it didn't feel permanent, put it that way. Like, having a baby is like, oh, she's here forever.
Okay.
Right? And I
Hell
didn't
yeah.
mind, but it just made you think like, yo, I think everybody had that phase in their mind, I'm only such and such age. I was only 25.
Okay.
I'm like, damn, yo, like, she's here forever, right? So, being as I was come home from work and she's there, she's pregnant. I wasn't ready to get married, but I felt like this is my wife or whatever I feel a wife would be.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I say it felt different. I started having these different feelings around her every day. Not that it was bad, it was just different.
Okay.
And then when my daughter was born, I felt the same thing. Now I'm coming home to a family.
Okay.
But whereas, I tell you this, if I was to marry her, it would have been only because I want us all to share the same last name.
Okay.
Because
Which happens a lot.
at that time, because my daughter had my name, so I'm coming home and it's one big family, and I know she's not my wife. You know, you got the family saying, "Oh, so when are you gonna marry her? When are you gonna marry?"
niggas shouldn't have kids with a woman, like, or marry a woman. It takes years, bro. Like, when you said 2 years, I was like, damn, bro, that's kind of soon. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, damn. Like, and you know, situations happen or whatever you experience. I was lucky. I always realized that. Like, I met her in school. I already had, I was in a relationship. I broke up with that girl for a little while. Got with my wife, and like, that was, you know what I mean? But like I said, like, I was lucky enough to live with her in college a little bit before. Like, I could see, like, yo, is she clean? Is she messy? Is she this? You know what I mean? And then different situations account for different shit. So when we moved out of college and she's in my crib, my mother still lives there. So it's like, I might not see the real her still. You know what I mean? Like, and when I first meet you, I ain't seeing the real you. Like, we might shower and come out, but for the most part, like, shit is still planned. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm gonna see you after class at this time. You get ready. You know what I mean? When you live with somebody, it's none of that. You waking up, you smelling shit. You smelling stink breath in the morning. You seeing them without makeup. When the weave or the wig is fucked, you seeing all of that. You know what I mean? It's like, you seeing how people are, and it take a long time to see how a person is. When you planning to see them all the time, it's like, I could get right for that. It's like a role, my nigga. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could get right for this. Oh, he said next week at 8 o'clock? All right, I'm going to get right.
So to piggyback off what you're saying, so is there a right time to have a child if you're in a relationship? Like a long term? Because,
No.
no? Because
I don't think it's the right time.
There's no right time. Like,
Because-
there's no set manual like, okay, we're officially 5 years in. Let's have it. No.
I'm saying, but you've been there, let's say, a relationship more than 5 years.
Wait, hold on. How many years you had with your girl before you guys had
So
child?
we were together 3 years before we got married, and then we had our daughter the next year.
Okay, so all right.
Like 3 years. You know, some people say 3 years might be short.
Yeah.
5 years
He
might
had
be
like
all right.
10
Here's my
years
thing.
plus.
Here's my thing. I feel that no matter how long you're together, whether it's 3 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever the case is, what are y'all doing with y'all time together? Because at the end of the day, like, we just wasting time if we just, like, you know, playing around and I don't really know you like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's why people feel like certain time is too short because it's like, yo, I don't really know this person. Like I said, we live together, so it's like we had a different understanding of each other.
And y'all lived together first, right? Mm-hmm. All right.
And we had a different understanding of each other. Like, we had those like hard conversations, and I think for me, I wasn't ready to do that, but I am grateful for it because it gave me a better understanding of like what I wanted to be, and where I needed to be, and just understanding her in the context instead of just always fighting all the time because we don't really understand each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to figure out why she's the way she is, and she's trying to figure out the way I am, and we just fighting nonstop. Whereas opposed to if we actually having conversations, it's tough to hear some stuff, but at the end of the day, now going forward, I have a full picture of you now. So
since you said that, when for all three of y'all, when you find out that it was a girl, how did y'all feel about it? Like, did you want a daughter or did you want a son first? I know, I can't speak from experience, but I had a couple of scares. The girl said I was pregnant.
Oh, you were pregnant?
No.
Congratulations.
Well, the female said she was pregnant. I'm like, you know what? In back of my mind, at that particular time, I had wanted a boy. I always wanted a boy first. Okay. I was the only child from my father, so I was wanting a boy. So how did y'all feel when you heard, she was pregnant?
See, that's two questions. How did I feel when she was pregnant? And how did I feel when I found out it was a girl? So for me, I'll go with the pregnancy question first. I was scared as hell. Like, when I found out she was pregnant, it was probably, first of all, it was a crazy week that I found out she was pregnant. Like, it was a whole lot of things that was going on. But I found out, I think, maybe February, I think like March, probably March, the first week in March, I found out she was pregnant. We was actually out to eat. And I asked her if she's pregnant because I'm the type of dude, we've been together for a while. I'm checking your periods. I'm like, yo. Like, you know what I'm saying?
This nigga said I'm checking.
Like, I'm like, yo,
Wow.
not for nothing.
Wow.
We live together. Like you said, we live together. So ain't no pads in the garbage. I asked her, I'm like, yo, she said, oh, she looking down. She said, oh, I got something to tell you. I'm like, would you tell me you pregnant?
This table is dirty. That's why she was looking down at the table. She was like, let me tell you something. This table is...
Nah, I asked her. I'm like, you pregnant? She said, why you asking me that? I'm like, yo, I just know your period ain't came the last week or whatever. I'm like, I don't be stressed out. It could be late, but
You sound mad.
Word, that would have been another question. Like, nigga, how do you know when my period is?
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like,
I'm gonna tell you why, because I was thinking this probably like a week leading up to it. Like, how to ask, are you pregnant? Like, cause I'm thinking it. I'm like, yo, like, dude, I started like, yo, I remember, all right, for instance.
so wait a minute. Y'all sharing a bed, having sex, and then you're nervous to ask her if she's pregnant?
Yeah. 'Cause that's a future, it's a permanent situation.
Yo, there's only a yes or no answer, bro.
You're right.
Or don't ask. And then 9 months later.
Exactly.
Dude,
Like,
Just
it's
make
like,
sure
yes
you're in
or
the
no.
hospital.
I was Googling stuff like signs, symptoms. Like, she wasn't throwing, you see TV, morning sickness throwing up. She wasn't having none of that.
As opposed to just asking her?
Dude, I didn't know how to ask. I did not know how to act. That's just me.
Okay.
How did you find out that your girl was pregnant? Well, she said yes, I'm pregnant. Then we had a little cry conversation at the dinner table. What we gonna do? Not like for the abortion, just how we gonna tell our parents.
Okay.
My mom had just had a car accident.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I'm like, damn, I got to tell my mother in the hospital that I'm about to have it was a whole bunch going on.
Okay.
But how'd you find out that your girl was pregnant?
I remember I was sitting in our apartment. We had a terrace, so I was sitting on the terrace.
Fancy.
Funny. On our we had a terrace, so I was just chilling outside on the terrace. It was like the evening, and she came to me like very matter of factly. It wasn't like like a romantic thing. It was just like, hey, I just took a test. I'm pregnant. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like,
She just straight with the shit.
It wasn't just like angry or anything.
point.
It was just like, yo, I'm letting you know, like, hey, we're gonna have a baby. And I was like, yo, like I was kind of like just like in shock because I was like, yo, we had just gotten married. I'm like, really? Like, I was more so like, I was. It didn't hit me the fear of being a first time father. That didn't hit me yet. It was just like I was just kind of like, yo, Dad, we just got married. Like, yo.
You were how long again?
Maybe like 2-3 months. Jesus. Exactly. So I was like, Dad. I was like, really? Like, we had plans to go away and stuff like that. I was like, oh,
Done.
Like, you're kidding me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't until later that it hit me, like, that we're having a baby, and then that's when we went to the doctor's office and we found out what we were having. To me, it wasn't no different. Like, I would have probably reacted the same if I had a boy. In terms of like, I was just an exciting feeling.
Oh, I didn't even tell you my find out it's a girl story. How did you find out you were pregnant?
I don't even remember, to be honest. I don't fucking remember.
That tragic?
It wasn't tragic. We were living together, so it was like, you know, feeling nauseous and all that shit. I know I had, you know, I know the time frame. In January, I did what I did, or we did what we did, so I was like...
So you kind of knew already?
Well, it's not that I knew. I just, like...
It just made sense.
I just, like
Steph Curry over here.
Nah, it's just that I never planned on having kids. You know what I mean? So I was making sure that the whole 10 years I was with her that we weren't gonna have kids. You understand what I'm saying? And that particular, it was 2 nights in a row that I you know what I'm saying? 2 nights in a row where I didn't take precautions that I normally take. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, fuck it. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, what are the chances? One hit or quit. Like, what are the chances? You know what I'm saying? I know people that have been trying for years. I know people that have been skeeting and they girls know nothing. So I'm like, I'm good. Like, fuck it. I'm a regular person. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? But I'm not. I'm Superman. You know what I mean? Because the very first time, like, I wish that was like my half-court shot for $1 million. I think I would have won that shit. Like, for real.
All right,
So she told me. She was just like, you know, like a month went by. You know,
said, I think I'm pregnant or I'm pregnant.
She said, I think I'm pregnant. And then we went to the doctor, and the doctor said, you are pregnant.
How far along was she? Do you remember?
Yeah, she was like 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
All right, man.
The month had to go by for the, you know what I mean? So, and then it wasn't even right away because that's happened before. She sometimes, it switches, you know. Mm-hmm. A week sometimes will go by when it's supposed to come, or 6 days, 5 days. So it was after that. So it was probably like 5 weeks in, like, because the month went by and then the extra week or two just to make sure went by too. And then it was like, oh, word, you're pregnant? Like,
all right, so because he
I was gonna ask, did it matter to you what you were having?
Yeah, hell yeah. I just told you I think about my daughter doing disgusting things. Like, yes, nigga. Like, yes, it mattered to me.
So tell your story about how you found out it was a girl.
We went to the doctor. The doctor said, do you want to know the sex? Mm-hmm. I thought it was a boy. She thought it was a boy. For whatever fucking reason, we both thought it was a boy. Neither of us are fucking doctors. You know, neither of us are like, you know, whatever. We just thought it was a boy. And
doctor said, I see no penis in the screen.
The doctor was like, oh, you have a girl. And I was like, check again. And she was like, I've been doing this like for a long time. It's a girl.
Wow.
And congratulations. And I just started crying. Like, I was like, fuck.
Tears, okay, so it wasn't tears of joy.
It was tears of sadness and tears of fuckness. Fuck. Yes. Tears of fuckness and fuckery.
So you found out it was a girl. You said you didn't care what you was having, but did you want a boy? Or you was like, you really didn't care.
I thought it would have been cool to have a boy, because I feel like as a guy, there's much more things that you could, like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you know, I know.
No, so it's like with a girl, naturally, like for me, I'm like, all right, cool. You know, men, we process things different from women. So it's like, for me, I just automatically, like, switch hats. Like, oh, okay, cool. I'm a protector now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to make sure, you know what I mean, my daughter's good. So it's like, so that was automatically my mindset. Like, all right, cool. I'm going to make sure, like, you know what I mean, that she's straight. You know what I mean? None of these little dudes is out here trying to, you know, and I'm plotting like as if she's not stealing my wife. Like, yo, I'm like, yo, son, like, you know what I mean? Any dude try to run up on my daughter, like, nah. You know what I mean? So that was just automatically the way I looked at it.
So see, I'm younger than both of y'all, right?
Okay.
And what I'm hearing is it's very different with the age group. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I found out we were having a girl through the whole new age gender reveal. Right, she made us do
you didn't even know?
Nah, she made us do a whole big gender reveal that her best friend knew. Her best friend went to the doctor. The doctor slipped her the paper on the side.
Okay.
Had a whole big. I'm telling you, I went to the gender reveal party, cripped out. All right, I got blue from head to toe. know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I got everything but the flag on.
Right.
I'm blued out. Like, yo, we
Right.
team boy. I had my son's name. I had a tattoo drawn up what I'm gonna get for my son. Like, it was my son. There was no, I never fathomed the word daughter. It was not even a concept in my mind. So we had
What did she think?
boy. We picked out a boy name. Let me not say
okay.
we had a boy name.
Okay.
We had a son's name.
Okay.
Wow. Our son is gonna do this. He's gonna be fighting by this age. He's gonna be doing this by this age. Dude, I was checking out, yo, what age can they start martial arts? I was doing everything. My son is gonna be everything. So we go to the party. We eat the food. I'm like, yo, I don't want to eat this food. Let's get on with the shit. You know what I'm saying? Tell me my son is here so we can, I'm saying, everybody's here. Her mother's like team girl because her mother wanted. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Sorry, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So we get to the balloon, the big ass black balloon. I'm like, that balloon didn't look right. It wasn't the weight of a boy in that balloon for some reason. I'm telling you, something felt weird. So I fucked up the whole entire gender reveal. Like, they're like, oh, we gotta count down. I had to put in my hand. We're doing 5. I said pop. I swear to everything. I just popped the balloon because it felt wrong. Something in me did not feel as confident.
Boy was
I did
salty.
not feel as confident in that balloon as I should have felt.
Salt Bay right
So
there.
when I popped the balloon and pink covered everywhere, now I'm wearing blue and pink because the pink is everywhere. I'm like, fuck.
I'm mad you remember all the
Dude,
details.
I remember
like,
because it was
everything.
so traumatizing to my mind. I was like,
It's like it happened yesterday.
fuck. I went inside. I was on the couch. I was damn near crying. Her father came inside, put his arm around me. I'm like, yo, this motherfucker. He's like, yo, it's gonna be alright. You know, my daughter is the first of my children to blah blah blah. I'm like,
You know, you're
yeah,
trying to hear that
but
right
I'm
now.
like, that's you, bro.
Fuck your kids.
I don't care about anything you're saying right now.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Like, at this point, I'm ready to just dip. It's not. I don't got to clean up. It's not my house. I'm ready to dip. You know what I'm saying? Let me just hop in the car and go. I don't
Kids
care.
say I don't gotta clean up.
You know what I'm saying? And remember, your child a few months older than mine. So I called you or I texted you, whichever one it was. And I was like, yo, what the hell am I gonna do with a girl? Girls are boring. I can't do this shit. What the fuck I'm gonna do with a daughter? And you was like, yo, I'm telling you, when she's born, you're not even gonna care about all that. Your daughter's gonna be the best thing for you, yada yada yada. And you were right. I will say you were right. You were 100% right. My daughter did become the best thing for me. But I'll be lying if I said when I found out it was a girl, I was super ecstatic. I was probably the angriest man in the world.
You angry because like you were so positive that you were having a boy? I'm just trying to understand why you were so angry about it. Like, were you angry because like you swore you were having a boy, or you were angry because like you were just like, yo, I didn't want a girl? Like, what was it?
That's the thing. I've always had in my mind I wanted a boy first. It was always son first.
Okay.
Right? It was always son first. And I looked at my sister. She had a boy first. I looked at my brother. He had a boy first. Ain't no way in hell I'm having a girl first. DNA don't work that way. It does, clearly. But in my mind, DNA don't work that way. It can't. How can I get stuck with the girl first? So I would just, because in my mind, I didn't process a girl. It was so shocking to me. I guess I was just upset. Okay. I really did not. I even have a girl's name picked out. My daughter's name is strictly her mother. I can't even think, even after I knew it was a girl, I cannot think of a girl's name.
What's your daughter's name?
Miley.
That's nice.
Like, I had no girls. I was going through my name like, what the hell? How can we do this? How can we do this? I had nothing. I could come up with no female names. I had 100 boy names. I still do. I couldn't think of no girl name, man. Now, all right, so. Go.
So, since you only got daughters, and this is a major question. Well, major question. Would you want your daughter to date somebody like you?
Me right now?
Yeah, I think now, yeah, you're a little mature. Or when you were 10 years ago.
Definitely not 10 years ago. Hell no, not 10 years ago. Hell no, not 10 years ago. I'm shooting him. 10 years ago, I'm shooting him. Straight up, he's gonna shot. Now, I think I'm a little better now. Yeah, I think now I'm not confident saying that either, but I think I could do it 10 years ago.
Me, now I'm okay. Now I'm comfortable. But I think I look at it and I say, yo, she's probably gonna date some scumbag. Like, she's probably gonna date a scumbag that's
that
like
process, right?
Yeah, you gotta go through that process. You know what I'm saying? I just hope that I raise her with enough, like discernment to understand, like, yo, he's a scumbag. You know what I'm saying? I don't want her bringing this dude to the family functions, thinking that he the world, and everybody else in the family see that, yo, this dude is terrible. Like, come on, man.
How about you, Jarrod?
I don't know what she's gonna like. Shit.
I said no. It's not what she likes.
Yeah.
Would you be okay with?
I'm a great person. Always have been. So if she wants to date somebody like me, she's gonna be, in for a great relationship, right? But like I said, I started it by saying I don't know what she's gonna like. She might like assholes, but that is a thing, though. There are girls that like ass. There are girls that like nice guys. There are girls that like niggas that are in shape. There are girls that like niggas that are not in shape. Like, these are things, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what she's gonna have to look forward to is that I've been with her mother since college. We've been monogamous, right? We are married, and I've been through the struggle up and down, like, that's the shit I care about. When you 13, you like niggas because of how they look. You know what I mean? You like them because of how they smell. You like them because they might be cool. To me, that's not my basis of what she likes. When she's like 17, 18, when she's like really about to be an adult, that'll deter. I don't care about her little 13-year-old boyfriend. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck about that. Like, I don't care. But when she's looking for men to partner with, not to support her, not to take care of her, but someone that can match her, yeah, she should date somebody like me. Somebody that's like, you know what I mean?
Well, couldn't you argue that, like, who she's looking at a younger age kind of transitions itself to who she looks at when she looks for a future partner and stuff like that?
Nah. There's college girls that, like the cool guy and the jock when they were in high school, or like, the kid that had every fucking Jordans when they were in elementary school, and they get to college and it's like, you realize, you know what I mean? They'd say, the geek guys and intelligent guys, you have a hard time in high school, but you'll be good in college. Because that's real shit. That's not a cliche. Legit. That's super real. Legit, you know what I mean? Like, I thought I liked one type of girl in junior high. Then I thought I liked another type of girl in high school. Then I got to college, and there's 1,000 different types. It's like, I don't think I like that no more. Like, I think this is, you know what I mean? Like, so, to answer your question, assholeness aside, being young and immature aside, nigga, yes, your father's a great fucking candidate. You find somebody like me, you're good. Like, you'll be all right.
But your wife,
is
her father around?
No, he's passed.
Was he in her life, I mean?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know him?
No.
Do you know if you're anything like him?
From what I'm told, we share a lot of similarities.
Okay. What about
your wife, rather, and her father. You share similarities with her?
Very similar to my father.
Righteous.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you know if you're similar to her father?
I'm nothing like that nigga at all. He is.
Wait, was he around?
Yeah, for the most part,
okay.
He was around. He was around until she was like 14, 15. Then he wasn't around. You know what I mean? And she don't fuck with him, so I don't fuck with him. Right. And I seen pictures of him. He's not light skinned. He's not handsome. And he left, which I told you I don't want kids, and I'm here 3 years in still. Like, you know what I mean? So, nah, I'm nothing like that nigga. Thank God. You know what I mean? Like, nah. Shit. And then that goes to, that further supports what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, he was around for her adolescent and her young, I like boys. He was around, and I'm nothing like this nigga. You know what I mean? I'm nothing like him at all. I don't look like him. There's nothing. You know what I mean?
She told you about him?
Yeah, she told me. She told me. I mean, 13 years, you have a lot of conversations. You know what I mean? It's a long time. Right, but I know about him in full, and I'm nothing like him, and it's never any comparison or nothing. Like, my dad used to do this. How come you don't? It's never none of that. It's like, yo, thank God you ain't like that, nigga. Like, you know what I mean?
So here's one thing that always is weird to me, and I'll ask you. Becoming a father, do you, not that you agree with it or you even or give him a pass or anything, but do you understand why he did certain things?
My dad?
No, I'll hold it to your dad or her dad?
Well, her dad, no, I don't, I don't understand, and to be honest, I don't even feel like I could even answer that question on his behalf, just because I'm only hearing secondhand from what she's saying. You know what I mean? As for my father, yeah, I was listening to Common the other day, and he was saying some shit like, as I sit in the same spot as my old man type shit, and I like that resonated. Certain times lines are, and it's like, I understand certain things that he did, and there's also certain things that he did that I wouldn't do. Yeah. You know what I mean? And vice versa. I'm sure there's things I do that he wouldn't. Exactly. You know what I mean? But I always had respect for my father. You say your father was around. But when you see the imperfections and shit like that, exactly, you know what I mean? So it's like and my father's not here anymore. You know what I mean? So it's not like I could tell him like, yeah, nigga, you would, because that's how we would talk if he was here. Like I'm 32, like I'm a fucking adult. You know what I mean? Like, but, I understand certain things I smile at, and other things get me upset. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, nigga, you didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's the way I look at it. Sometimes it's like, with my mother, like I look at it, and my father's very quiet. So, like sometimes I look at him, and like if you look at my parents, you'll think that my mother runs the show. You know what I'm saying? Because he's just laid back, like you know what I mean. But he's the type of guy that like when he wants something his way, you know it, and he's not gonna bang on the table. Like that's never been him. But when he wants something done, he does. And it's like I used to growing up, I never understood that. So I would look at him and be like, yo, son, like, why you don't just put your foot down and get, like, you know what I'm saying? And his thing was like, it's not worth it. Like, what am I going to aggravate myself? He's like, I can live with this. Like, I'm good. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's only, like, after, I had a daughter and got married and all of that, that's when I understood, like, oh, that's why he's so laid back. Because it's like, in the grand scheme of things, what am I getting my blood pressure up for this for? You know what I'm saying?
It's for both of y'all. And there's certain things that you feel... And you can answer it too, because your father's in your life. There's certain things that you feel like your father did without being too deep. Your father did in the household that you like, nah, I'm never doing that. Like, you're changing. Maybe like, was it like, did he beat you? I'm not beating my kids, or whatever it was.
For me personally, my father never wanted to talk to me about sex. Like that was like taboo. Like he was just like he had one rule: don't bring no girls home pregnant. That was the basis of our discussions. Like you know what I'm saying. So if he like saw me like talking to girls or whatever, he got kind of like angry about it, like because he felt like that's where it was gonna lead to. Now you got a full picture here is that I'm African, so it's like my parents are like old school African. So it's like naturally
he's from Africa, right? From Africa.
Yeah. Okay. So naturally their first thought is, you about to get some girl pregnant. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like he never like talked to me about like women per se, because I guess looking at it
well, kind of forever.
But so like for him, he was I when I look back at it now, he was just nervous. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He was just like he didn't want to. He felt that like having those kind of conversations would probably encourage me because of the type of kid I was. Like I was like, I was trying to get it always. You know what I'm saying? So I think that for him, if he felt like if he had those conversations, then he would probably try to encourage me. Like maybe I would take it as, it's okay.
Yeah.
And so for me, like nah, like with my daughter, nah, definitely not like. Not addressing it and all of that. No, it's gonna be addressed.
You know when? You have like an age group in your mind?
When he thinks she's fucking, that's when you talk.
Oh no, that's too late. That's too late when you think she's fucking.
Well, exactly.
that's way too late.
No, you misunderstand. When you think she's capable of fucking, right? Because you're gonna know when your kid is still into Barbies and when she changes. There's a switch. Like
we're gonna sit that ass down.
Yeah. My father. I don't know, man. I'm like both my parents. It's disgustingly eerie too. It's really crazy. Like I'm like my father, but I'm like because they're polar opposites of each other.
Yeah.
Right. So the fact that I have both of those in me is like you might think I'm bipolar sometimes. You know what I mean? Because like I'm telling you, my mother is at times just persistent and incessant and fucking annoying and like childish and got a voice that you know what I mean, and then my father is at times calculated and or he was rather just, and he wasn't quiet to like your father. Like he did lose his cool, you know what I mean? But it's like their arguments were like, they both college educated, they both, you know, intelligent people, and you know, it's like they're throwing daggers at each other from this close, you know what I mean? And they're not yelling. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, well, if you had the sense to do it this way, then maybe this would have... Well, logic shows if you didn't do it... And it's like, you know what I mean? They're like going back and forth. And it's like, I'm going to show you I'm smarter than you, motherfucker. No, motherfucker. I'm going to show you. You know what I mean? And it was like, I'm like that. Like,
stayed married? Your parents stayed married?
They were married for 8 years and then they divorced, right? So I think my mom was like 7 months or 6 months pregnant with me when they got married, and we live right here on State Street. State Street not too far away, and we moved to Co-op City, the Bronx, in '88, and then they got divorced in like '95.
All right,
you know what I mean? So it's like that. Like my parents had separate rooms. You know what I'm saying? Like if they right, you understand what I'm saying? So it's like if I go off of my father, then I wouldn't have gotten married because from when I could remember, you had separate rooms. I thought that was normal until I was like 8 or 9. I thought it was like, your parents sleep in the same room? Sucks for you. Like, my parents got 2 rooms, nigga. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I didn't realize, nigga, you're the one who's not normal. Like, your parents are not doing it righteous. Like, and it's like, yo, they were roommates. You know what I'm saying? And that brings me back to when I was talking about just that people be with each other for the my parents were not in love with each other at that point in time. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys even were really. You understand what I'm saying? Because I wish my wife and I would have a 3-bedroom, one for me, one for Winter, and like, why the fuck are we living together? You understand what I'm saying? Like, we're not doing husband and wife shit. We don't have to be together to co-parent. We don't have to like each other to co-parent. But y'all niggas is arguing, you getting into it, everything short of physical, you know, violence. Y'all niggas yelling at each other, being spiteful, slamming doors, cursing, saying spiteful shit. Like, why? You know what I mean?
When you realized that they lived in separate rooms, like the room, when you realized it was not the normal thing to do, did they divorce already, or they were still, you realized that when they were still living?
I realized that when I was probably... Like I said, like 9 or 10. So they divorced when I was like 7 going on 8.
Okay.
So, you know, we moved. Now my mom has, moved from a 3-bedroom to a 2-bedroom. So now I still have my own room. My mother still has hers. It's just like, literally, it's just, he got cut out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't different. Like, she always slept alone. So it wasn't really, you know what I mean? Like, you always slept alone. Like... You know what I mean? Like, the one time I caught them fucking, one time it was in his room. Like, he must have been the happiest nigga that day. Like, you came down the hall down here to get some dick? Oh, shit. Like, back in the day. Like, you know what I mean? But that was one time. You know what I'm saying? They lived together. So it's like, I'm different from him. Like, I'm different. Like, I was with my wife. Like I said, we were together from, like, 2006 to... When did I propose to her? Like, I think 2014 or some shit like that. 2015 I proposed to her. So it's like, we were together for 9 years. You know what I'm saying? I done seen you almost in your entirety for a decade. You know what I mean? And I dealt with you for almost 10 years. Why the fuck? What's going to change that getting married now? That's how I felt. You know what I mean? But everybody don't have that. Every person can't be with their girlfriend or husband for... that amount of time before they do it, you know? So you gotta have faith. Like, for some people, it's like you take a leap of faith. I don't want to fucking take that leap of faith because everybody I know, with the exception of like one couple, my grandparents, they all got divorced, including my parents, including my wife's parents, including other parents I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, people in my family, they've already shown me, like, you don't have to marry somebody to love them. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen that firsthand. It's nice, though. Yeah, I've done it. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like... I don't judge. Like, I don't judge you for not being married. Like, that's why when you ask me about the whole religious aspect or whatever, like, being married before, I don't give a fuck about that. You take care of your daughter and you love your wife or your girl, like, that's good with me. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. You are married, righteous. You know what I'm saying? Like, But my father is different. My mother is different from my wife, so I can't. She's different. My wife is. She doesn't bring out the same shit in me that my mom might have brought out in my father. And the flip side, like maybe my wife might have brought something else out of my father that I don't know, you know. But he was good. My father was alright. R.I.P.
What about you, Rock? Do you think you're like when you see yourself having kids, the way your father raised you? I know your father used to punch the shit out of you because your father had a strong right hand. Like, do you see yourself being that same stern?
Mike Tyson over there.
No,
his father was one-handed
facts.
quitter.
Yeah. His thing was hit first, ask questions later. No matter what the situation is. So I'm thinking about it now. I toned down the discipline a little bit. I turned out pretty okay, not where I want to be right now. But as far as discipline wise, yes, I'll turn it down.
I think like one of the things is just like when you take things in perspective, like you kind of understand why your parents felt like they needed to do what they needed to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like my mother and my pops, they argued a lot. Okay. So they argued a lot, and so I understood like I felt that my mother was very angry growing up. But I get it. Like when I take all things into consideration, I understand why she was angry. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My father worked long hours. You were home with 2 kids. I'm pretty sure we've all had times where we love our daughters, but it's like, yo, son, enough. You know what I'm saying? And so my mother was raising me and my sister. We're 3 years apart. We're fighting like cats and dogs sometimes, like brothers and sisters do. Sometimes it's just too much. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I understood, like, when I got older and I had kids and I had a daughter, that I understood, like, oh, I get it now. Like, I thought you was just angry to be angry. You know what I'm saying? And then you understand when you get older, like, oh, nah, like, you understand. Like, that's what I say when I say you understand why your parents did some of the things they did.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you with that.
Like, not to absolve them, or like, you know what I mean, say it was okay, but at least you understand it.
Right. No, I agree with that 100%. You look back in retrospect, right?
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so, because you mentioned, like, being a father, being home long hours. Can you see any situation where you can raise your daughter by yourself? Like, can you be like, yo, if you had to do it, can you do it by yourself?
I think that is one of those situations that if you need to, you need to. It is what it is. Like, I'm not sitting there saying, yo, I'm capable of raising her by myself. Hell no. Like, right now, like, I'm married, and I thank God for my wife, because it's like, yo, you know what I mean? It gets to a point sometimes where you're like, yo, man, baby, I'm going to need you to handle this because I just need some time to myself right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I think it's one of those situations, like I look at single parents, yo, they do it because they have to do it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I admire them. They have a certain type of resiliency that I don't know if I have.
Having support when you have kids is like integral part of you not losing your fucking sanity.
Talk about it.
Like he said, which is very spot on. If I had to raise my daughter, I'm gonna raise my daughter. But if I had a choice, it's always to the 10th power gonna be to have my wife.
All right, yo, like back to I'm gonna switch back to, like, you know, dating a little bit.
Okay.
Now, I know you said your age difference, 16 don't matter to you. We worry about the future years, but 16, 17 high school years, dude come knocking on your door. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He opens the door. You open the door. Hey, I'm here to take out, you know,
I'm Reggie.
So and so. Yeah, exactly. What's your move? Like, do you have something in mind? You been thinking about that already? Like, you been hitting the gym for that? You been shooting your guns? What's your mindset for when that happens?
I don't get nothing out of it. Like, I'm not gonna flex on a 16-year-old kid. Like, I'm gonna tell him to come inside.
You know, like, Mike Larry.
Yo, son, I'm gonna tell the kid to come inside and, like, they'll have a conversation with the kid. Come inside. Like, strip. Nah. Now, granted, like, I'm probably nuts this way, but I'm the type to probably, like, yo, you're not going out with my daughter, son. That's a dub. Nah. Mm-hmm. Like, if I have the conversation with the kid and I don't like the answers that I'm getting, I might just.
But he's a kid. He doesn't know what to say.
What about you, Jarrod? You got anything in your mind? When dude come knock at your door, hey, I'm here to pick up Winter.
I know how I am. I know how women are. I know people are different, so I just have to gauge the best I can. Like, I was never one of those niggas that said, like, all women are whores and all women are... Because it's like, my wife is not like that. I know, you know what I mean? I know women that are. Like, I have friends that are. Like, I've dealt with women that were. Like, so it's like, it sound real misogynistic if I was like, yo, my wife, my daughter, I don't want you being a whore or nothing like that. But it's like I don't know what's like how predisposed they are to that. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I don't know, you know what I mean? But I know if I get a vibe, which is what I've always gone off of, I'll act on it. If I feel like you're gonna be somebody that I can't trust or might intentionally hurt her, then I'm gonna flex on you. Like, yes, I will flex on this 16-year-old. Like, nigga, the fuck is you like, what? Like, Winter, come here. You going out with this nigga? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'll do that. I won't feel no way. Close the door. Like, yo, you want a cheeseburger or something? I'm about to make some food. You hungry? Like, all right, no, you upset? All right, well, go in your room and chill. You'll be all right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't.
I can see you doing that too.
Yeah, I would. But at the end of the day, if he's there, and you know what I'm saying? The flip side is that would be me judging the person. You know what I mean? Like, but sometimes you only get one chance with the father. You only get one shot. You know what I mean?
You're right.
I went out with an Indian girl, and she brought me to meet her father. The father didn't like, the black people, all that kind of shit, and didn't want her in a relationship. Scenario. And I went to the house, and, like, we had a talk, and he was just basically telling me, like, yo, like, this is why I don't want her going out. And I was just like, well, we've already been going out. And, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't really stop me from seeing her, but I hear you, and I hear what you're saying. I wish I could tell you I respect it, but it's like, it is what it is. Nigga, I just fucked her, like, before I came to your house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you're talking to me about how you not gonna let her see me in the future. And it's like, nigga, I won. I came here because I won already. You understand what I'm saying?
I have a theory about that, though.
What?
And my theory about that is, I don't think you respected the father on some, you can't fight, so...
Nigga, the first thing he said to her, she called me. An hour later, she was like, "Yo, he just told me like, yo, he's pretty big." Like, cause she was like,
exactly.
I don't know. I weighed more like in college, like high school, college. I was like 215. You know what I mean? Like, I was chubby and like, you know what I mean, solid. So it was like,
if your father's Shaq, I'm gonna respect you a little more.
I don't know. Like, I might see the crooked eye and you stuttering, and I might be like, nigga.
What you gonna do, Shaq? You gonna do, Shaq?
If you got the gun on the table,
Right.
Nah, but like, see, y'all overall a little different. Cause for me, I thought I knew what I was gonna do until I saw the movie Dinner Thieves. You see Dinner Thieves, right?
Yeah.
You remember when 50 he opened the door, and he brought her in the room with the big ass Samoan niggas? Yeah, I'm doing that shit.
But that's one nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I just watched the other day? I saw Bride of Chucky, right? And then you know what that bitch did? She brought in the gay friend to come in and pick her up for prom, right? And so the father would approve. And then she left, and the jock nigga was waiting in the back of the car, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's, yo, I'm gonna talk to her.
Respect.
And I just want her to know that she has to have respect for herself. There's certain things guys will do if they don't respect you, and certain things they not. You all know, as black men that have lived in the city, you know what I mean? Like, you knew the girls you could get fly with, and you could touch, and you knew the girls that you could not do that with. Like, nigga, I don't care how good you look, or I don't care how, much money you have. She's not gonna let you do that, bro.
And that's the one thing that, like, if you want to talk about goals with your daughter, that's the one thing that I try to, like, make sure she understand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like for example, like, my daughter came up to me the other day, and she was talking to some kid at her daycare, and she was like, yeah, he was telling me he has like Paw Patrol Band-Aids, and she was mad excited to tell me the story because she saw nothing wrong with it. Right. And in my head, I'm like, yo, these niggas starting early out here, like, yo, Paw Patrol Band-Aids, like, yo, son. I was like, and she was like really excited. She saw nothing wrong with it. But in my head, I'm like, you don't need to see it. It's okay. It's okay. Like, she's like, no. I was like, yo, come on. This conversation is done. No. But it's like, to what he's saying, like, yo, you want your kid to know, like, you know what I'm saying, that you want your kid to hold herself to a certain standard. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not that happens, that's not, honestly, no matter as much as we tell our daughters, at the end of the day, they gotta take that standard, not us. We can't take that standard for them. We can't tell them like, yo, if he tries to push up on you, don't let him. And then they're like, okay, daddy. They have to have respect for themselves enough to be like, nah, I'm not with this. You know what I'm saying?
The flip side is you could have a girl that makes the right choices in men, but then she's a fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, she's not independent. So it's like you hope she makes the great choices in men, because without this man, she won't be I could have that, or I could have the girl, the daughter that's independent and that is intelligent and makes her own choices, but she tends to like dirtbags, you know what I mean? But like, at least I know she's good. I would rather that. I'd rather the daughter that's independent, that's, you know, got her own goals, whether it's college, workforce, entertain, whatever it is, she's doing that and she's secure in that, but she might date an asshole or two. Like she might, and then looking back at someone like my mother's educated, was unhappy in marriage and shit like that, and has never really entertained getting married again. But it's like, her bill's always paid. You know what I mean? Like she wants something, she can go and get it. Like she wants to go on vacation. Guess what, nigga? Watch the dogs. I'm going on vacation. Like that's so. If my daughter's like that, my mom has been single. Well, let me not say single. My mom hasn't had anyone in the prospects of marriage since my father. You know what I mean? They got divorced, like I told you, in '95. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, bro. That's like, you know what I mean? That's 24 years ago. So it's like, if my daughter's like that, I'll be okay. Like, oh, you got married, you tried to do that, and he was a piece of shit, or it didn't work out, or she might be the piece of shit. Who know? My daughter might not be, you know, marriage material. Who the fuck knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, it might be her. Like, listen, that's not you. Like, I would be okay with that rather than have the one that's, oh, she chose a great guy, but she don't have shit. She didn't go to school. She don't have a job. The bitch can't do nothing. Like, I would prefer the first one. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, you know, to each his own, right? I see you thinking about it.
I'm trying to think. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it's like your married life is good. Your husband's attractive, treats you well, makes money, but you don't have nothing. You have no ambition. You have nothing of your own. Yeah. If the nigga leaves you right now, you better hope that he didn't sign a prenup because you're not gonna have shit. I don't want that daughter. Yeah, I don't. And that's me. That's me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting your kids to make sure they're self-sufficient. At all. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, I'm just of the belief that, like, yo, we all have flaws, and our kids are not going to be exempt from that. They're going to have their flaws.
Of course.
They're going to have their flaws. It's just a matter of, like, how you handle said flaws, and you know what I mean? Like, so for example, if and when I say that, I mean that in terms of, like, handling the flaws that maybe you might be responsible for. So in other words, you don't want the daughter that's, you know, running around because she felt like daddy didn't love me enough. You know what I'm saying? Or she felt that daddy was always angry with me. So I'm looking for, you know, self-worth in a dude to tell me I'm pretty and I'm cute. And that's kind of suck. Because then, like he said, like, now you just throwing yourself into this dude because he's giving you a couple of nice compliments. And then where are we going from there?
You know, that stems from younger shit though, and if you're being the father that we're saying we're being, our kid is not gonna have to worry about that.
And I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Word. I feel like that's like when you're young, it's like you don't get the attention, so now you're always seeking for it elsewhere, whether it's, you know, man or whether it's in the other, you know, relationships or whatever. But yeah, that's part of being there for your kid and showing them like, nigga, you don't need a man to do that for you. Like I showed you how somebody's supposed to treat you, and this is the guideline behind that. Like, I showed you that. But you get into situations where it's like different eras, dealing with different shit. You look at life differently. And, like, you know, my parents, or my mother rather, just, we don't see eye to eye with a lot of shit. But that's okay. That's okay. Because if I need something, she's there. If she needs something, I'm there. So if I could have that kind of relationship with my daughter, I'll be okay. Like,
I think, like, to what you were saying before, I think it's interesting. I had this conversation with my wife because I was, like, just thinking about it in retrospect, and I realized it was, like, God talking to me because he was like, yo, like, you know what I mean? I gave you parts of your parents. Like, you know what I'm saying? And me and my mother, I always tell everybody, me and my mother are two alike. That's why we don't get along. You know what I'm saying? We're both stubborn. We're both hard-headed to an extent. And so it's like, I'm more inclined to get along with my father because he's soft-spoken, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So, but I realized that, like, with my mother, I get, like, my boldness and my assertiveness from her. Because if it was like, if it was just strictly my father, I'd probably be more laid back, probably not step up, or, like, you know what I mean, when I should and stuff like that. But with my father, I learned how to say things, like, you know what I mean, not as of aggressive. Because that's the one thing with my mother, like, it's like, you're gonna, like, I'm gonna say how I feel, and then I'm gonna hope you take it the right way later. That's how she is. Whereas opposed to my father is like, he's more so like, all right, cool, like, you know what I mean, I understand what you want to say, but you want to say it this way. And so, like, the combination of both. And that's why when you said, like, yo, it's weird that I'm like both my parents, I'm like, no, it ain't.
I respect
No, it
that.
ain't.
I respect it. I respect that.
You learn from both your parents.
Yeah, I
It is
respect
what it
that.
is. And it's like, honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, it's just as important. So when you talk about, like, single parents, I'm not here to say, like, oh, they're lacking or anything. It's just,
Right.
I can't even remotely think about that right now. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna rewind it back. Make y'all motherfuckers cry a little bit. I'm telling you, yo,
Go ahead, you could try.
So all right, you when your daughter was born, you was there, right?
Yeah.
Same for you. You was
Yep.
there when your daughter was born.
I was there.
All right, so your daughter's born. You in the hospital room. Mommy's sleeping. You by yourself.
Yep.
What's going on in your head? Like, what happens in that moment?
You want to answer her?
Yeah, I mean, for me, everything set in when she said she was pregnant and when she said she was keeping it. So it's like, I hate to compare my daughter to like a dog or something like that, but it's like, I'm just saying, when you bring home an animal, like you're already prepared for it. At least, it's not like you come home and there's no food and there's no wee pads and there's like, you already know.
I don't mean home. I mean you in the hospital.
I know, but so what I'm
okay.
saying is, when she was pregnant, I already prepared myself. So when she was asleep and the baby was next to her, I just got up. I would check on her. I was fucking tired though. I was standing up all day, and I'm sleeping on a sofa like chair couch. It's not made for a nigga that's 6 feet to sleep on. Like, it's not. My back is hurting. Like, my knees are hurting from trying to get right. So I just kept getting up. And to be honest, of course, and my wife was also trying to fight sleep because like every minute she wants to see Winter and so it was like I just got up and I looked like this is my kid, but it wasn't like, oh, I didn't have that talk then, like, yo, I'll do anything for you and you're gonna be I've been had that already.
You're
right?
too tired to have that conversation.
I'm just like she's breathing. Okay, I'm gonna go back and chill.
Yeah.
Like that's all I did, bro. I got up, I looked at her. She don't really have a face yet. You just know complexion and you know what I mean? So I'm looking, all right, 10 fingers, 10 toes, like, yeah, you light enough. You're not a white baby. You're not. Yeah, she didn't cheat on me. Like, you could be mine. Yeah, I'm all right. You mine. And then I just went back and I laid back down. Like, I touched my wife. Like, yo, you good? She gave me the half sleep, half awake. Yeah, I'm good. And I went, all right, nigga, like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm uncomfortable on this couch. You got the bed that goes up and down and fixes and shit. Just leave me alone. Yeah, it's hard.
I think for me, like he said, like that's not the moment we're having these right. Like I had those conversations with. I talked to my daughter a lot while my wife was pregnant.
Right.
So like it was like I was having conversations once a day. Now somebody taught me that you're supposed to do that as a father, so that way they're familiar with you. Of course. You know what I'm saying? So that way they're familiar with the tone of your voice, the vocals, everything like that. So that way when they come out, they know, okay, that's daddy. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, think about it, they're with their mother all day, so they know mommy's voice without a question. So it's like we had already had conversations. Like I'll talk to her about sports. I'll talk to her literally about anything. And it's like, yo, it wasn't something like, oh, what are we gonna talk about? I don't know what to talk about. Yo, I was literally talking to her like, yeah, the Knicks did this today, and what I mean, just normal conversation.
Righteous.
So it's like when she was born, I mean, it wasn't like that whole daddy got your back, like he's saying. Like it was just more so like I was just more so like, wow, this is my kid. Like, righteous. I really got a kid. Like,
righteous. That's how I felt too.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, like I got a kid. Like, what I mean? You're not even thinking about all that other stuff. All that other stuff comes later. Like, yo, I'm responsible for a family and all of that. It'll come to you later. But at that moment, you tired. Like for me personally, I was scared to hold my daughter because I was so tired. Yeah. Like I was like, yo, I can't sit in this couch because she gonna roll off my arms right now. Like I was like, yo, I'm gonna need her to sleep in that thing right now because it's like. I tried to sit with her in it, and I found myself falling asleep. I was like, "Oh, nah. Let me go put her back in the car," because it's like you just that's the thing. It's like watching your kid being born is like it's weird. It's like
hell yeah, it's weird.
It's weird. It's just like
I didn't know pussy could do that.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things. Like it's like you're like yo like. really made a human. Like, yo, it's kind of like
10
not to
fingers,
sound like
10 toes.
yeah, like not to sound so like like fake deep, but it's just like yo, like I really made a whole human here.
Nah,
I'm like, yo,
that's real shit.
I told her she's pushing. I'm like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like that shit. Like,
I'm telling you, like that shit, like, and my child's birth was very quick. You know, like, she started having contractions like between 3 and 4 a.m. And I think by 7 o'clock, she called the doctor. Doctor's like, if you come here, you're just gonna be sitting because you're not dilated enough for us to do anything. So I know the contractions are hurting, but you might as well be home, or you could be naked and comfortable and whatever. So she did that, and then maybe like, I don't know, 7:30, she was like, yo, I can't take it no more. Like, I still want to go to the hospital, get an epidural and all that shit. On the way to the hospital, though, like, her water broke. You know what I mean? So she's, like, in this passenger seat on her knees facing the back. You know what I mean? And I could see it. I could see the water. I was like, oh, shit, all on my seats. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so.
You got one of those stories.
It was just like, damn, like, you know what I mean? But it was all good. Like, I just, the shit you think about sometimes, like, I'm like, damn, like, all right. This is on my seats. Like, the fuck? All right, so we get to the hospital. She goes upstairs. I go up there with her, and they like take her information. She doesn't have her insurance card, so I have to go back to the car to get the insurance card. By the time I come back from getting the insurance card, they're like, "Are you the dad? Are you the dad?" I'm like, "I hope so. Yeah, that's me. Like, I guess. Like, come in. She's already ready." And then I could see like my kid's head. Like she, So the whole birth took 11 minutes.
Wow.
Like from the time they put her on the table, rather in the chair, whatever the shit is, to the time she came out was like 11 minutes. So like it was quick. She didn't have time for the epidural. So shout outs to my wife for doing that without an epidural.
Yo, all props to her.
And it ripped though, bro. Like it ripped. Like you could just see it. All right. So it was starting to rip at first, and she was in pain. So then they just scalpel real quick came out. That part was like the afterbirth was the shit that I was just like,
that shit was weird.
What you thought you could have done without that?
It's because I'm a nasty nigga. I seen a lot of nasty shit, whatever. So that the whole process of the gook and the mucus and the bodily fluid, that didn't bother me. What bothered me is that this short 5'2" doctor is up to her fucking bicep and my wife's pussy just pulling out the afterbirth. Like, my nigga, like, that is a sight, boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't never nigga think his dick is too big for his wife or his bed. I promise you that. She could take way more because this doctor had her bicep in my wife's pussy. Like, pulling out the afterbirth.
I had we had a male with fucking Kawhi hands.
Bomba Clyde. He said he had
the Kawhi hand, man. Up that motherfucker. I'm like, it's funny because the same doctor who delivered my daughter delivered her.
Right.
So his father was telling me the whole time, "Yo, you like him?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "His hands, man." I said everything. He was telling me, "Yo, his hands, man."
Big fucking hands.
But I didn't even notice the hands until I'm like,
yeah, huge. Like, I'm telling you, like, I couldn't believe that, and it was just like she just kept just pulling this shit out, and it's just like, and then I realized when I had seen that before, when my friend's dog had given birth. She eats the afterbirth. The dog eats it. You know what I'm saying? And
people I read stuff online. Women are really doing that now.
Yes,
like,
nigga.
Women are really like eating it now. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I don't.
Man,
they claim it has nutrients and but you can supplement anything these days. It's 2019. All right, stop eating afterbirth out there, people. Shit is disgusting. Cut it the fuck out.
That's another level. Like, nah, I'm not here for that.
So like, real quick. Back to the thing. I guess I'm the only one here who actually had like a real movie theater teary-eyed moment with his child while the mother was sleeping. Like,
oh, you cried,
nigga? Yeah. So like, I'm gonna tell you what I'm saying. Like, yo, I'm like, damn, I'm pussy. Y'all take y'all story. I'm like,
nah,
damn, I'm tired. I'm pussy.
When I I'll say this, like, after I had my daughter, like, before I had my daughter, yo, you couldn't nothing make me cry. After I had my daughter, yo, son, I was a mushball. Like, I'll be like mad emotional about stuff. Like, yo, when I would come home from work and she was mad happy to see me, I was like, oh, like, yo, you happy to see me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Let me tell you when I cried, but so like she's in the mother's sleeping, she's in the shit, and she's sleeping, but I can't sleep. Like I don't know if I'm like super alert. I just can't sleep. So I'm standing up watching my child, and I picked her up, and I started praying. I'm saying walking and praying, and just praying, walking, and then the only song that came to my mind was it's like a song by Leanne Womack called "I Hope You Dance." Okay, right. And for some reason, I play that song for like 30 minutes, just playing it while I'm walking back and forth. And I don't know, like I was crying because I'm like, damn, I really. One, created a life. I got to two, take care of this life. I see her mother. I'm like, damn, like you gave me like this life. It really just like you was in there, like just thinking like, yo, God is crazy. Like you really had a full heartbeat that was in there, couldn't breathe, couldn't do nothing, and then comes out and you breathing by yourself. You just crying, like you just doing all this shit. So I'm really thinking like, damn, like. Who the hell told you to move your arm? How you know how your brain? I'm saying you 5 minutes, your arm moving. Like who does that? Like that's professional shit. Like for real. Like you wiggling, you crying. Like, how you crying? Like what you sad about? Like so shit like that is just in my mind. I'm walking and I'm like, yeah, I really had like a real crying, teary ass moment. It was like damn. But now it's funny. Last time I cried, thinking about my daughter, like you said, crying before, was you seen Endgame, right?
Yeah.
Remember when, like, now I'm telling you.
He thought about her disappearing.
No.
I'm not going to lie. No. That's the one part of the movie that I was kind of like, because it's like, yo, when you're a father, you're like, damn, son, this little girl ain't got no pops
Exactly. No. Yo, when
like,
Iron Man died, I instantly cried. And I could see he was damn, like, damn, he ain't got a daughter. I mean, his daughter ain't got no father.
Yeah, his daughter ain't got no father. I'm
like, but then, when he was like, did hologram said, love you 3000. I broke it. Nigga, the Hoover Dam broke. I was like, oh, shit.
Alright, so I haven't had any of those moments where I just like, I'm looking at her and I'm crying. I've definitely had the moments where I'm smiling and it's like, I appreciate you and like, you know, yes, love and all that shit. What you guys are talking about though, the first time I felt that was, forgive me for not remembering her name, but the young black girl that got found in the freezer, I think, a couple months ago, or a year or two ago, she was at a she went to a party, a hotel party.
Yeah.
They claim that they gave her, you know, some drugs or whatever.
They saw her wandering around the freezer.
That is when I realized how having a daughter is like, because normally I'm the person where it's like, my nigga, I just told you 200 people died. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, it's just like, all right, you know what I mean?
Exactly,
and I was surprised because like I said, death happens. You know what I mean? Someone dies every 3 seconds. Someone's born every, you know what I mean? So it's like, but when I saw that, you know, she's a mother crying. You know what I mean? It wasn't even about the father. I thought about my, like, damn, if that was my kid chilling. Then you know, you hear information, friends set her up type shit, or maybe she was possibly raped before, and it's just like, you know what I'm saying? I felt that, like that shit, that kind of shit I felt. Like, that was the first probably public case or situation, and then like, as you guys said, when I see movies and it's like a father-daughter, or I'm not even gonna lie, since even my father passed away, like when I see father-son shits, it'd be like, you know what I mean? Like, damn, this one fucked me up before he died. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then you be like, you know what I mean? But nah, I've experienced it that way. But like, I don't know. I haven't had the moment though where I'm like, where I cry for her. But I definitely have had the moments of appreciation where it's like, yo, that was some really smart shit.
Like I mentioned earlier, like before. Your daughter a model, right?
Yeah.
Your daughter's super cute. You never like cry when you saw her on some shit? Like just out of appreciation? Like,
nah, I mean,
like, my daughter do fucking whatever.
Yo, it's just like, I don't know, like, you know, certain things trigger me. Like, I don't know, like her. I love it. I get proud and I'm appreciative and I'm like, yo, I love you. Like, you know what I mean? But it's more like when she says certain things, like the other, like I have a balcony or whatever. So you go on the balcony, you could see.
You got a terrace. You got a balcony.
You can see a terrace is way more bougie than a balcony. twisted, though, right? Don't get it twisted. The terrace is way more bougie than the balcony. Don't get it twisted, right? But on the balcony, you can see the river. So, you know, I'm picking her up by the window. She's like, you know, you see the cars? I say, yeah, I see the car. What color is that? She's shouting out colors. She looks over to the right. She's like, Daddy, you see the river? I was like,
Yeah. Yo, that type of stuff? That type of stuff will
that made me, like, that tripped me out more. That's the closest I've ever been to, like.
The fact that my daughter has, I got an iPhone, her mother got an Android. The fact that she knows how to pick up both phones and call, not only work them, we don't have, like, because we can't FaceTime, we use Google Duo, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. She can go in either phone and pick Daddy and mommy, like, so from her phone, whatever. I'm like, then I'll be like, yeah, so I'm like, yo, what's up? She be like, where's mommy at? Mommy's in the bathroom. Mommy's in the room. I'm like,
the fact that you
wait. So her mother comes out. She's like, oh, I know she called you. Wait, time out.
My daughter did that a couple months ago.
So you didn't call me for her. She called her?
Yeah.
Oh, this. I'm like, yo, she's Einstein.
Yeah.
What did my sperm do? I'm retired by 5.
So it's like, so I'll put this out there. Maybe this has happened yet or whatever. But like for me, what blows my mind, or it set me like you couldn't, like I wasn't necessarily crying, but it's like, yo, you couldn't tell me nothing. Like I felt like, yo, son, I'm about to become president tomorrow. The first time my daughter said, like, I love you, Daddy. Like you sitting there like, yo, you just messed me up the whole day. Like you just messed me up.
Nah, you appreciate
like,
it.
Yeah, you just like,
you definitely appreciate it.
But like,
what?
you know, she said clear, right? Just
Yeah,
clear,
you
like,
see it clear. You like,
I'm like, yo, how old are you again?
what's your problem, son?
You can't say a certain thing, but just love you, like.
Yeah,
They
and
just
like,
they pick up on shit real quick.
Yeah,
That I appreciate, because like I've never taught her river. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't teach her that.
I say this all the time. Outside of food, and I can't even really say food because if I would let her be a vegan, she would be a vegan because all she wants to eat is fruits and vegetables all day. She'll go in the fridge, open the fridge, got a new orange. I'm like, what the fuck? So like, outside of me feeding her food, I say that the occasional I piss myself. She raising herself, bruh. I'm not gonna front.
Nah,
she it's like
no way.
now. What I mean by that is, yo, she be in the house. She only child. She entertain herself. She plays hide and seek. He was there yesterday. She's like, let's play hide and seek, Daddy. I'm like, okay. She's under a box. Obviously, the box is too it's too
for her to know, like, yo,
a box.
Yeah,
like, yo,
for
you
her to
gonna
know.
get great in this world. Like,
No,
so it's like
son.
shit like that.
Japan.
Yo, yesterday, right?
Yeah.
It's a little Asian cartoon on YouTube. I mean, Asian people. I don't know. I think it's Uncle John, right? And I don't know how she's found this show, but she loves it. It keeps her entertained, whatever. But so the boy went to Legoland, but he said, "Oh, we're in Legoland, Japan." She didn't say Legoland. She says, "Daddy, I want to go Japan." I'm like, "Where?" "Daddy, I want to go Japan." So I called her mother. I said, "Tell mommy when you go." "Mommy, I want to go Japan." Her mother didn't understand what she was saying. So what she saying? I'm like, she said she want to go Japan. She was like, fuck it, guess we gotta go to Japan. Like, but it's the fact that you picked up, who says that?
Yeah.
Why you know that's a place to go to? It was like, yo, like I love her. I really started her this last night. Like, yo,
Yeah.
She
like,
is.
Like my daughter blew my mind yesterday. We went out. My wife was wearing like a wife beater type thing, and she got a mosquito bite on her back, right? And so she was like, oh, my wife was walking in front of us, and she goes, oh, mommy got a bite. And I was like, oh, really? Where? And she goes, oh, on her left arm. And she starts pointing to herself. Wow. She goes, on her left arm. I was like, check you out. Like, so, like, my wife heard this and turned around because she was like, I was like, yo, she pointed to it and everything. I'm like, yo, what the? Like, yo, these kids are, yo. I get what you mean when you was like, yo, these kids are raising themselves. Because you're like, yo.
I ain't teach you nothing about Japan, how to say it. I ain't teach you, we up to ABCs in my mind, bruh. You know how to count, and you doing full songs, and like you watching full movies, quoting words. Like, yo, what word is that? Like, I fucked my mother up one time because she gets some Matilda, right?
Okay.
And she loves Matilda for some reason. She's like, she likes old movies. She likes the first Annie and fucking shit like that.
Wow.
It's like, so she hates cartoons. She won't watch nothing, no cartoons, only live action shit.
Wow.
So it's like, one time I think Matilda, it was like, what's 2 times 8? And she was like 16, right? So, but she's saying there's a whole bunch of numbers. So my mom comes in the house. I'm like, Miley, what's 2 times 8? 16. Mom was like, she didn't see the movie. She's like, what the fuck? I'm like, what's 2 times 5? 10. And she's like knowing that like, she's quoting a movie. My mother's just like, what the hell's going on? Like, why she doing so? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but she like that.
Dude,
You could pick up a movie and like quote the. You know, watch it a million times. You quoting the words like.
Yo, son, I can show you a video. My daughter is like legit acting out a scene from Coco, like legit,
and it's nowhere near
acting out. Like I'm like, what? Like I'm like she was doing it on
Shout
her
out to
own.
Coco. That's a good movie.
And she's like, I'm watching her, and I was like, because I've watched it with her, I'm familiar with the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm like watching, and she's just like doing it on her own. She's like, yeah, you know, this is, you know, I want you to give me a new blessing to get back home, blah blah blah. And then I'm just like blown away, like, yo.
Now I'm telling you, yo, man, it's crazy. Yo, shout out to Daughters, man. Like, Daughters is really gonna like tell you.
Yeah, definitely.
But alright, to kind of like almost wrap it up. First, I'm gonna ask you, A, do you want a son?
Yeah.
Right. Do you want a son?
I don't want no more kids.
All right.
I can't guarantee I'm gonna have a son.
Yeah. But you aren't necessarily like wanting for a son.
I shot my shot, man. I half court. I shot my shot.
So
I made it in.
shot.
You think
Boy.
it would be pretty cool to have a son?
Yeah, it would be.
Okay.
It would be. And let me say this because, you know, I was the I'm never getting married, never having kids guy, and obviously, you know, so
Things happen, man.
so
Things happen.
let me say this. In my foreseeable future right now, I don't see me having any more children. Is that an impossibility? Of course not. Is there a chance I might have a son and I would love to have one? Of course I would. But Winter is amazing. She's more than enough right now. Like, she's enough. And I got my hands full. So I love my daughter. Like, she's tough, she's strong, she's beautiful, and it made me realize that it doesn't matter. You know, I wanted a son, I wanted a boy, and now that I have my daughter, I'm ecstatic. You know what I mean? I'm happy. I'm elated. I love my daughter, and
I
she
love my
means
daughter
everything.
too.
Yeah,
You know,
she means everything to me.
shout out to you, Miley.
All right.
You know, yeah, man, we gotta do this again, man. Like,
Nah,
and we gotta, you know, like I said, you being the oldest daughter, me being next, you being last, and you up
I bet he
next.
said the oldest daughter, like my daughter's 16 or something.
She's older. I'm telling you why
What's
she's
her
old.
birthday?
Valentine's Day.
Look at
Valentine's
that,
Day.
man. I was
Righteous,
meant to
righteous.
be a girl, man.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what's up.
I say that because a lot of things you told me early on, I would complain to you about. Well, I think that's complaints. You took it as teachings. It ended up being true. Yo, she's gonna start doing this. She would do it. Not that all children are the same. It just happened to work that way.
Certain things that are
Certain
similar.
things, yeah, exactly,
And
yeah.
Definitely.
I always see a lot of mommy books, mommy and me, stuff like that. Your mommy, you should be this far along. We don't have enough father things that's like directed straight for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
But that
the
goes
fact
back
that
to-
I had a father like toward like who close to my daughter's close in age, and just telling me, yo, it's gonna be good, it's gonna be alright, it's gonna yada yada yada, because you're going through it, made me feel like, alright, and I trust you as a man. You know, I go to you for everything. You know what I'm saying, as a man, I trust you. So when you tell me as a father, it's gonna be good, I'm like, alright, if Kenny said it, we good, we good. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think that one thing that, like, what we were talking about earlier about, like, you know, there's no, like, tell-all book for men the same way there is for women. I think that a lot of times men just don't share. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, for example, me and you could be going through the same thing, but I'll never know it, and I'm over here sitting here stressed out, like, yo, son, how am I gonna get through this? And then meanwhile, he done been there, could wrote a book on it, like, you know, whatever, and it's just, I never said nothing to nobody, so...
The book is on Amazon.
So it's like I never said nothing to nobody. So meanwhile, I'm sitting across the table from somebody who knows exactly what I'm going through, knows how he got out of it. You know what I mean? And it's like why don't we talk? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be like on some like, you know, emotional stuff, but it's like, why don't we talk as men?
Yeah.
What is like, you know what I'm saying? We're not trying to convince each other that the other one's right, but it's just literally what it is.
Look, man, like shit like this, like I said, we're gonna do this again one day, man. Like, just
Definitely.
for the fathers, and we're gonna, you know, hopefully keep in contact. Start just doing more father shit. You know, I know me and you supposed to been for the longest get our children together, and we did get them together at time.
I mean,
It was great.
there are different things changing the narrative. Like you know, there's groups like the Dad Gang and stuff like that that are definitely changing
Shout out
the
Dad
narrative
Gang.
out there.
What's the Dad Gang?
Dad Gang is the dude. All right, so I'll give you a brief synopsis because I'm not like an official spokesperson, so I don't want to misquote. He noticed that the perception of fathers in the media and stuff like that of black fathers, naturally, it wasn't good. Right. So he did something to change that, change the perception, put it out there that they're all black fathers that are dope. So, they do like meetups and stuff like that, just simple stuff like, we're going to take a walk. And it's like, you'll see like 100 black fathers walking with their kids. You know what I'm saying?
Righteous.
And stuff like that. And it's like, he got tired of the narrative that when he would be out with his kids, people were like, oh, you're such a, like almost like, because he was like, he felt that it was like, he was like a unicorn. Like, oh, you're doing such a good job. Like, I can't believe you took care of your kids. You're doing great. And he was like, what? Like, nah, not even. So he's doing his part to change that. And I feel like there's groups out there like that. But, yeah.
All right, man. Look, respect. Yeah, I think that's it, man. Shout out to Twitter out. I mean, shout out to information out. Where people can find you at.
I'm Kenny Botchway on IG.
The Jarrod James, Jarrod James, no space, on IG. Holla at me.
And as always, my name is Myke on IG. Say it as you moan.
Oh, Mikey.
_ Randall Savage _ All right, we out here.
Yeah.
All right, man. This has been the God Brother Podcast. Peace.
Peace.
Deuce.